Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Jim Lovell of Apollo 13 fame was circling the moon. He looked back at Earth and called our planet a grand oasis in the great vastness of space.
Things you need to know about Sally Ride. Sally Ride, American physicist and astronaut, born in Los Angeles, California, May 26, 1951. She joined NASA in 1978. Prior to her first flight, she was subject to media attention due to her gender. During a press conference, she was asked questions such as, "Will the flight affect your reproductive organs?" and "Do you weep when things go wrong at the job?" In 1982, she married fellow NASA astronaut Steve Hawley. She became the first woman in space in 1983.
My turn came first. My first flight was on the 7th flight of the space shuttle. That was my first chance to strap into a rocket on the launch pad and go from a standing start to 17,500 miles an hour in 8.5 really fast minutes. My first chance to unbuckle, float weightless in the space shuttle. Weightlessness, by the way, is something that I recommend to all of you. It's just fun. There's no other word for it. And then, of course, it was also my first chance to float over to the window and take a look down at the really spectacular view of the Earth below. So I put this in just to prove I'd been in space. If you look off towards the horizon, this is the kind of perspective that you've got. You can see a few hundred kilometers off in any one direction. You can see maybe 1,000 kilometers off towards the horizon. This, of course, is Florida. This is what Florida looks off towards the horizon. Take a look at the horizon. You can see that right where Earth ends and space begins, there's a really, really thin royal blue line that goes all the way across the horizon. It almost looks like somebody took a sharp blue crayon and traced the horizon of the Earth. That thin blue line is Earth's atmosphere. That's all there is of it. That's all that separates everything we know on our planet from the vacuum, the blackness, the emptiness of space. Natural features that you can see. This is a picture looking through the Straits of Gibraltar. You're looking at Spain on the left and North Africa on the right. And take a look at Spain, the southern part. Get a picture of Israel, Jordan, Syria, a small corner of Egypt. Right in the middle of the picture is the small Sea of Galilee, and directly below it is the kind of oblong-shaped Dead Sea. If you let your eyes go from the Sea of Galilee down, this is what a hurricane looks like from orbit. This was a Category 4 hurricane that was active during my second space flight. Look at the detail that you can see in the feeder bands of the hurricane. It's really pretty spectacular. And the next photo is going to be looking right down the eye. And here you're seeing all the way to the water of the Indian Ocean through the eye. The detail that you can see in the eye wall is really spectacular. This is a great picture. I wish the effects of civilization that you can see from space. This is a picture looking down at a small corner of Portugal, and what you're seeing are the contrails from airplanes going in and out of Lisbon's airport that day. From east at the bottom to west at the top, all the way across the Amazon basin in Brazil. And they thought they were photographing an overcast day with the overcast kind of cut off by the Andes Mountains there at the top of the picture. Turns out what they were photographing was not an overcast layer of clouds, but accumulated smoke and haze that had built up as a result of the fires that had been set to burn parts of the Amazon forest. And what they thought were individual puffy clouds or thunder clouds, thunderstorms, were actually plumes of smoke over fires that were burning at the time this photograph was taken. This is what the Earth looks like at night. A lot of people have this image of astronauts with their eyes glued to the windows and snapping photos during the daylight side of the orbit, and then quick getting back to work and doing what the taxpayers are paying us to do on the night side of the orbit. Nothing could be further from the truth. We're actually at the windows all the time. and you can see why. It's absolutely beautiful. This is a picture of Midwest United States, and the cities that you're seeing here in the lower left is Indianapolis, and then going diagonally across the screen, you see Dayton and Columbus, Cincinnati a little bit to the south, and if you go all the way to the upper right-hand corner, you see kind of an orange smudge. That smudge is the city lights from Philadelphia all the way to New York City. It's absolutely.
Ride remains the youngest American astronaut to have traveled to space at the age of 32. She is the first known LGBT astronaut. She flew twice on the Orbiter Challenger. Sally and her husband, astronaut Steve Hawley, divorced in 1987. She left NASA in 1987, then she worked for 2 years at Stanford University's Center for the International Security and Arms Control, then at the University of California, San Diego as a professor of physics. She served on the committees that investigated the Challenger and the Columbia Space Shuttle disasters, the only person to participate in both. Following the Challenger investigation, Ride was assigned to NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C. She led NASA's first strategic planning effort, authored a report titled NASA's Leadership and America's Future in Space, and founded NASA's Office of Exploration. 7 months after being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, Ride died on July 23, 2012, at the age of 61, in her home in California. Her obituary revealed that she had a partner of 27 years. They met when they were both aspiring tennis players. Her partner was also a science writer and later the co-founder of Sally Ride Science. They wrote 6 acclaimed children's science books together. She received numerous awards throughout her lifetime. And after, Sally received the National Space Society's von Braun Award, the Lindenberg Eagle, and the NCAA's Theodore Roosevelt Award. Ride was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame and the Astronaut Hall of Fame, and was awarded the NASA's Space Flight Medal twice. 2 elementary schools in the United States are named after her: Sally Ride Elementary School in The Woodlands, Texas, and Sally Ride Elementary School in Germantown, Maryland. On December 6, 2006, California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger inducted Ride into the California Hall of Fame at the California Museum of History for Women and the Arts. In 2007, Sally was inducted into the National Aviation Hall of Fame in Dayton, Ohio. She directed public outreach and educational programs for NASA's Grail mission, which sent twin satellites to map the moon's gravity. December 17, 2012, the 2 Grail probes, Ebb and Flow, were directed to complete their mission by crashing on an unnamed lunar mountain near the crater Goldschmidt. NASA announced that it was naming the landing site in honor of Sally Ride. The U.S. Navy announced in April 2013 that a research ship would be named in honor of Ride. This was done in 2014 with the christening of the Oceanographic Research Vessel, RV Sally Ride. May 20, 2013, a national tribute to Sally Ride was held at the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts in Washington, D.C. Also that same day, President Barack Obama announced that Ride would receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian award in the United States. The medal was presented to her life partner in a ceremony at the White House on November 20, 2013. Also in 2013, Flying Magazine ranked Ride as at number 50 on their list of 51 heroes of aviation. The Space Foundation bestowed upon her its highest honor, the General James E. Hill Lifetime Space Achievement Award. 2014, Ride was inducted into the Legacy Walk, an outdoor public display that celebrates LGBT history and people. 2017, a Google Doodle honored her on International Women's Day. In 2018, the U.S. Postal Service issued a first-class postage stamp honoring Ride.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.